Hello everyone. Now in this case we will see another example of finding inverse Laplace transform by using partial fraction. So what you can see here, we have one linear factor repeating only once and another linear factor repeating twice. So now we will follow the method of partial fraction. So as per the rule of partial fraction, when we have one linear factor and another linear factor repeated twice, so what is the rule? Rule says that for single term we write a over s plus 1, and then since there are repeated factors, so we have two terms for that. We write a over s minus 3 power 1 and then c over s minus 3 power 2. Okay, and then the system will remain same. So here we are adding it together. So as we are writing 3s over s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2 in another way, so we just write denominator should be same here. Here don't do mistake of multiplying all these three terms together, because then it will give you power 3 and in the question you have power 2, which will be wrong. So you cannot change the question. So it should be power 2 only. So to avoid that mistake, it's better if you follow the question. Okay, then here now we are looking for the terms which should multiply with a, b and c. So this is the term in which I was explaining that the cross multiplication will not work, because it is of the type say 2 over, let's say 3 over say 15. Okay, let me take another example, not this one. Say if you want to add the rational numbers 7 over 2 plus 9 over 8. So in this case you do not write here like it is 2 into 8. No, instead you will write 8 as the LCM, because 8 you can write 4 times 2 and 2 is already included here. So then you will write 7 times 4 plus 9, isn't it? This is how we work. So it is similar to that. Now it is easy when you deal with numbers. When you deal with variables, it is bit confusing if you don't do it carefully. So for that we will use that method that I explained earlier. Now this is the denominator. We multiply the whole term with this s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2. So when a gets multiplied with this thing, let me write it down separately. A over s plus 1, when it get multiplied with s plus 1 s minus 3 square. So s plus 1 s1 plus 1 get cancelled. What you left with? S minus 3 power 2. So this term comes in multiplication with a. Okay, similarly when you multiply these two terms with b, so b over s minus 3 multiplied with s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2. Now this is power 1, this is power 2, this cancel, the power become 1. So you left with two terms, s plus 1, and then let me just erase it as space is not there, s plus 1 s minus 3 and then plus. Now we want to check what will comes with c. So again in the same way, c is c over s minus 3 power 2 multiplied with s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2. So this get cancelled, so you left with s plus 1. Okay, it's not necessary that you do this calculation separately. If you can able to do it correctly by doing it direct, it's fine with me. Okay, so now compare the numerator of both sides. So this gives you 3s equal a times s minus 3 square plus b times s plus 1 s minus 3 plus c times s plus 1. Now here you can see that you have three constants A, B and C which we are looking for. Okay, so again we have to substitute three different values of S. So what are those values? Yes, so like previous example, we select the values from here. S plus 1 equal to 0. This gives you one value as minus 1. This is one value. Then the second value from here, S minus 3 equal to 0, which gives you S is equal to 3. Now as I said, we have to select three different values. Now in the next time if I put S minus 3 power 2 equal to 0, it will give me the same value, which is not different. So we will not take this value. In this case, we will select the value of S on our own. That can be any number. Now to make it easy, I will start with S is equal to 0 because it is not used here. Assume that S equal to 0 is already used, then I will go for 1 because it's easy to substitute. Okay, and so on. So let's work. So we are going to replace S on both sides by 1 first. So be careful while doing the calculation. So it is 3 times minus 1 equal A times minus 1 minus 3 power 2 plus B times minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 minus 3 plus C times minus 1 plus 1. Now see, minus 1 plus 1 becomes 0. So this total term cancel. This whole term also cancel. So what we left with? Minus 3 is equal to minus 1 minus 3 gives you minus 4 and power 2, which gives you 16. So this gives you A is equal to minus 3 divide 16. Okay, let me just write it again. This is 4 minus 4 because minus sign twice. So we got the value of A. Now for B, we are replacing S by 3. So 3 times 3 equal A into 3 minus 3 power 2, B times 3 plus 1, 3 minus 3 plus C 3 plus 1. So what we can see here, 3 minus 3, this becomes 0. So this total term cancel. This also becomes 0 because of this 3 minus 3. So now we left with 9 equal 3 plus 1, 4, C. This gives you C is equal to 9 over 4. Okay. Now third value is S is equal to 0. Let's do the calculation here. S is equal to 0. So when you replace S by 0 here, we get 3 times 0 equal A times 0 minus 3 power 2 plus B times 0 plus 1, 0 minus 3 plus 0 plus 1 times C. Okay, so 3 times 0 becomes 0. So we get 0. This is equal to minus 3 and power 2. This gives you positive of 9. 9 times A. Here this will give you plus 1. This gives you minus 3. 1 times minus 3 gives you minus 3 times B. And 0 plus 1 is 1. Gives you C. Now here we didn't get the value directly. The value of B. Instead we get an equation. So now we have to substitute value of A from here and the value of C from here to get the value of B. So for that, first we rewrite it. We move 3B on the other side. So we write 3B. If we change the side, sign will change. Negative become positive. 9a plus c, which is equal to 9 times a is minus 3 over 16 plus, what is the value of c? 9 over 4. So when you solve it, 9 times minus 3 gives you minus 27 over 16 plus 9 over 4. It's okay, you can use your calculator if you want, or otherwise you can solve it in the way I am solving. 27 plus 9 times 4, which on further calculation gives you minus 27 plus 36 over 16, which gives you 8 over 16. So 3b is 8 over 16. Can you further cancel? Yes. 8 times 1, 8 times 2. So this gives you b is equal to 1 over 2. 3b is equal to 1 over 2. While giving b is equal to 1 divide 6. Okay. Sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be 9 over 16. So this value change. So we get 9 over 16. This gives you b as 9 over 16 times 3. Now you can cancel. This gives you b as 3 over 16. 3 divide 16. Now we will substitute these values of a, b and c the very first place where we introduced them. So it is over here. So let's write it over here. Okay. 3s over s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2. This is equal to a. A is minus 3 over 16 divide s plus 1 plus b is from here 3 over 16. 3 over 16 over s minus 3, and the value of c is 9 over 4 over s minus 3 power 2. See, below c we have this. Now next is applying inverse Laplace transform. So when we apply Laplace inverse on both sides, so Laplace inverse of 3s over s plus 1 s minus 3 power 2 is same as finding inverse Laplace transform of minus 3 over 16 s plus 1 plus Laplace inverse of 3 over 16 s minus 3 plus Laplace inverse of 9 over 4 s minus 3 power 2. So in this case, as this numerator, we can write it as minus 3 over 16 Laplace inverse of 1 over s plus 1, which gives you minus 3 over 16 e power minus t. Okay, now for the second term, this can be written as 3 over 16 Laplace inverse of 1 over s minus 3, which is 3 over 16 e power 3t. Now comes the third term. So for this term, we can write it as 9 over 4 Laplace inverse of 1 over s minus 3 power 2. So now we don't have rule directly for this, so we have to use here second shifting property. Okay, so it will become 9 over 4 Laplace inverse of 1 over s minus 3 power 2. We don't have rule for that, but we have rule for 1 over s power 2, which says it is t power 1. So we can write it as 1 over s power 2, where this s in blue is changed to s minus 3. Okay, so it means in place of this blue s, if I replace s minus 3, I will return back to the original function. So then this gives you the term e power 3t, and this will give you t. So the answer will be 9 by 4 t e power 3t. Okay, so now we have the inverse Laplace transform of each of the terms 1, 2 and 3. So the final answer will be minus 3 over 16 e power minus t, in between the sign is plus, 3 over 16 e power 3t, and then in between again plus 9 by 4 t e power 3t. This completes the solution.